Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release. If my calculations are correct, by the end of this episode, we would have played every video game from 1981. So all those hardcore XD Sorcerer or TI-99 home computer enthusiasts that said, well, you missed out on this in this game, I do apologize, but you have lost your chance. Let's go out with a bang. We last left off with Woodpecker in the arcade, and let's keep going playing all the games from 1981. Our next game takes us to Europe on the ZX81. This is Word Mastermind. Another really obscure one, no box for it, but this is by P.E. Cantor, published by Vortex Software at some point in 1981. Do we want instructions? Yes. What in the world is Word Mastermind? Wait, there's a date there. I didn't even see that. October 20th, 1981. Well, there you go. Maybe it was released at this date. So what's the instructions? I will think of a 5-letter word and you must try to determine what it is. Oh, really? We're playing a guess that it's actual Mastermind. It's the classic Mastermind. We're going to guess what the word is. Yes. Okay. Yep. This classic game has been around, can't even determine how long, but we've seen it in video game form several times. This is the first. This won't be the last. But there you go. The computer's thought of a 5-letter word and we have to enter our first guess. And guess the word. Man, games like this just make me hope for puzzle games like Tetris in the future. But this is what a puzzle game would have been like on your ZX81. So that's it for Word Mastermind. I want to breeze right by that one. Of all the games we've seen up to this point, I would give it a 1 star, maybe 1.5 if I'm generous, but I'm just going to go 1 star. We've seen better from the ZX81. I will never forget Mazogs. All right, with that, let's see what our next game is. We're next going to the TI-99 4A, and this is Zero Zap. Hey, welcome Coco Nation. You're just in time for another home computer, the TI-99 4A in 1981. Let's take a look at the box for Zero Zap. This is another one of the titles that was supposed to be covered before, but was lost. But thankfully, we have some fans of the show that have let me know of this game and several others that we've covered for this year. So this is originally by Milton Bradley. You can see from the front of the box, it says it's a fast-action strategic pinball game. 1 or 2 players, which we enjoy video pinball, has lively pre-programmed games, and then it also has you to save and create your own pinball tables, very similar to another one we saw on the TRS-80 Coco. If you came in right when a Coco game came on, that would have been just too coincidental. All right, so this one is Game Vision, which is another smaller brand of under Milton Bradley. If we flip over on the back of the box, you can see it has the different board layouts. It looks almost like a Plinko-ish board, and it even allows you to customize the field. You can design your own boards, and they have 3 of them built in, fields 1 through 3. And then if we see, here's an advertisement flyer with the other one, which was Hangman, which you've also seen on the TI-99. Hangman, everyone knows that one. And then this is Zero Zap. How do you play Zero Zap? Well, you snap on the cartridge, choose the game variation, or build your own playing field. Then you program the desired winning score, number of shots you want for each game, and then position your arrow and shoot. Watch the arrow score points, turns over when the arrow returns to baseline or hits 0. Game Vision, where playing games have come of age. Well, we'll be the judge of that. So here is the inside flap that you'd see for instructions. It says basic play is to score the most points by shooting an arrow into a field of bumpers. There's a demo game that comes on the screen. It'll show you the action described below. It shows that arrows released from the bottom of the screen travels up when it hits the obstacle or a bumper, kind of like pinball. I wonder if this really is pinball. It doesn't really sound like video pinball. The arrow will bounce or ricochet off the obstacles as followed. A block will cause the arrow to reverse direction, and a cross will move in adjacent dot paths. Okay, I'm kind of visualizing it, but the instructions aren't super helpful. There's the example of the cartridge. We really enjoy cartridges on our home computer here on Chronologically Gaming. All right, let's go to our TI-99 4A. Pop in the cartridge Zero Zap, released at some point in 1981. And as usual, we get our friendly Texas Instrument home computer screen. What do we want to play? Zero Zap. What is going to happen? Now, it... Everyone add that to the public domain songs we've heard so far on the channel. Oh, it is going to attract mode, like an arcade game. I'm going to plug in 2 controllers. It said 2-player. I always want to see if it's simultaneous, even if I'm playing alone. It looks like it's not pinball. There are no flippers. If there's no flippers, then it's not pinball. It looks like it's just an arrow you fire off on the side. But all right, that's it for the attract mode. Let's push any key to play. So it's giving an example of the controls. We'll do a 2-player game just to see what happens. So pushing 2 for 2-player, and then we can have M to modify the course. We won't do any editing or modifying, but just put that in your back burner that you can change the board and make it the way you want, which is always a plus. All right, so if we push N for next, that would be another board. Okay, so this is game 2, game 3, and that's it. There's only 3 boards that are put in, and I would say that's minimal considering we've had games on the VCS and other home consoles with, what, hundreds of game variations? But this one allows you to make your own. All right, so let's do, I like this one. This one looks nice. Okay, let's put enter to play and then change the score. So what is the winning score? Looks like whoever gets to 100 first, or you can change it to whatever you want. 100 works, sure. And we're in with Zero Zap. Now, I haven't seen this on any other computer or console. This is a Texas Instrument exclusive. Yeah, it looks pachinko-like with all the grid on the side. So this is player 1. I'm moving the joystick. Sorry to say, everyone, that the joysticks do not work, or they didn't program them in for this game. We've seen a lot of games that were really done very well on the TI-99 joystick, but not here. All right, so for control, then I'm using keyboard. As player 1, moving left and right, and then I just aim the arrow and go, right? And then that's it. So that's player 1's turn. I just bounced off a brick and came back. Oh, so now player 2's up. Same controls on the keyboard. Really no need to hot seat. You can have one person just control the other person and tell you where you want to shoot it. But let's try here. Very bizarre. So it is racking up the score every time you get a certain amount of points. I have no control over any of this. It's watching the grid like a pachinko or plinko board. This is not pinball. False advertising. I don't know what this is. I've never seen anything like this. It's like a combination between pinball bumpers and pachinko or plinko. All right, let's go there. Oh, 0. You get blown up. So now we're player 2. Presentation's still pretty good for the TI-99 computer. As far as gameplay, though, it's lacking. It's mostly luck. I have a dirty sensation I'm playing casino or gambling games. I can't describe it. Because I'm not in control of this arrow. I'm just selecting one location and going for it. It's Pinlinko. So it looks like player 2 won. They got the target score of 102. I want to try one more game because I kind of feel like I should like it. It has cutesy music in the beginning. It has a simple premise, an idea of how to play. Let's go to a different game board and let's check out game 2. Change the score. We'll keep it 100. We won't play the whole thing. But is there more to this, or is this it? I guess you can design your own board, but what's the point of designing your own board when it's this? This is all the controls. I'm just using 2 keys to move left and right, and then when you decide to go, you use the 3rd key, and that's it. Then it's just on the rails. Whatever happens. Yeah, this really feels like I'm gambling. Should we consider this the same as our fruit machine games and those casino-style games? Because it's so close. It is different, though. Oh yeah, so bizarre. You know what, the title like Zero Zap, I was expecting a space game. So no, not hitting all cylinders, Texas Instruments. So in the chat, if you want to give me some of your best score or ranking, this one is different. We've probably never seen anything like this and may never see anything like this. But as far as the gameplay, it's not super fun. It is a guess gambling randomness kind of game. I'm going to say it is a 2-star, which is the best of the bad of games that it could be for the time. I really would want to rate it higher, but just doesn't have a lot of substance to it. A 2 for just being the board, yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. We'll go 2 stars for Zero Zap. Not going out with a bang in 1981, apparently. Now our next game is going to be Going back to the Sinclair ZX81, and this is ZX Chess 2. We're nearing the end of every video game in 1981 alphabetical order, and this is proof. ZX Chess 2. So you see there at the top, it says the TS1000, the Timex Sinclair 1000. It's so on the cusp of coming out between in England or North America. It's all by Sinclair. So if you look at the whole sleeve, this is the whole box. If you open up everything in the cassette, it has loading instructions on the right. It says what level you want to choose from is 1 to 7, and it's kind of sideways, but it's explaining after you load the game up what you can do in it. But this is it we have for artwork for ZX Chess 2, the sequel to ZX Chess. And that's all we have for the opening. Let's pop in the cassette and play some ZX Chess 2 for the ZX81. Here we go. This is by Arctic Computing. What do we want to do? Play, analyze, or load? Let's play. Who do we want to be? We'll start out as black. What level to play? We'll do 2. Oh, okay, so the ZX or ZX Chess 2 is the old school recreation of playing a computer game. The computer's already taken its turn, which is represented as ZX Chess. So they moved E2 to E4. There is no joystick for the ZX81. This is all on the keyboard. And just as a reminder, there is our handy-dandy keyboard for the ZX81. Very different and not nearly close to modern-day keyboards. So if we want to go to a certain spot, what are we doing to... We have to plug in how we want to go. So if I want to get my pawn... If I want to move C7 to... Oh, yeah, what's dash? Oh, that makes sense. It's J to get your dash. You have to... When we go from game to game, computer to computer, the controls go all over the board. So whenever we go from computers all over the world, sometimes the keyboard layout changes a lot. So I'm really thankful we have a home computer that allows you to plug a joystick in, so you can play with one joystick and one button, hopefully, instead of having to work with the keyboard. All right, so I want to move C7 to, let's try to move it to C6. Invalid. Oh, why is it invalid? Try it again. C7 to C5? No, invalid. What? Uh-oh, is the game not working correctly? Well, for a game that allows you to program, plug in the coordinates of where you want to play chess, it is... I'd say semi-ideal, but we played other games that are chess games that run much better using joystick, considering the ones we played on the Coco, the ones we played on the TI-99, the other ones we played on the Atari. They all are allowing you to have an interface that's controlled a little bit easier. But sadly, it's not even recognizing the control. So either I did something wrong to put it in, but for a chess game for the time, it's still subpar, considering the other games we've seen for the time. And if someone wants to school me on the ZX81 and say I plugged in or typed it in correctly on the keyboard, go for it. And in the meantime, we're going to say 1 star for ZX Chess 2. And with that, let's move forward with our next game. For some reason, this showed up at the end of 1981, but it is Astro Blaster, released at some point in 1981 for the arcade. Our final arcade game we're going to be playing in 1981. Not the final one to be released. Let's take a look at the advertisement flyer for Astro Blaster. We got 2 different ones. Looks like this one is the German advertisement flyer. This is originally by Sega Gremlin. Love those guys. And then here is what we got in North America. I don't know what they were going for. This reminds me of the advertisement flyer of the lady who's covering up the arcade cabinet with a sheet and peeking under it. This one makes no sense. They have a cleaning lady that's cleaning off the arcade cabinets. How is that going to sell the arcade game? It does show off the different arcade cabinets, but it makes you think that they're vintage or old. I'm glad you're with me, Chiptune. Thank you. For every type of business, whatever you need, Astro Blaster is to fill them. Astro Blaster is supposed to be the best arcade game. At least that's what Gremlin Sega says. We flip over the advertisement flyer. It says, Invader ships in Sector 1 battle stations with the exciting warring and synthesized mission control voice signals. So we got some voice over. We have 3 to 5 fully fueled ships, number determined by the operator. Your mission is to blast all targets before refueling the mothership. Then advance to the next game sector where you see more missile-firing, multicolored invaders. Make every shot count, because if you don't manage your firing efficiently, your laser temperature rises, and the mission control warns you, kind of like when we played Threshold for several different home computers. It has different game modes, it says, and Astro Blaster is challenging and experienced players and beginners. Now, a brief history on this game. This one was pushed several times, kind of like Tunnel Hunt in the arcade. Astro Blaster was originally very difficult. So difficult, they had to dumb it down. So that's why they say it's for experienced players only, because originally it was so difficult no one could play it very well. There's an example of the arcade cabinet for Astro Blaster. Loving the wood grain. Reminds me of the 70s. Or if there's a cleaning lady in the game, I guess that would make sense, right? And then another one, we're going to see the artwork around the outside. Take a look at the monitor tilted sideways. CRT with excellent art around the sides. So cool. And then another one. This is the, let me see what we have. So we have a different style of cabinet here, and then they go vertical with another style. But it's all Astro Blaster with some examples of the PCB. For controls, we're going to do left, right, and fire. Classic space controls. Oh, we also have warp, too. Okay, so we got fire and warp. It's using a two-way joystick. There's our arcade marquee for Astro Blaster. Oh, man. Love being in the arcades. So it's got both, yeah, overheating and fuel mechanic. We have a manual for this one as well. Here's the operator service manual by Sega Gremlin. Astro Blaster. Does it say what the game is? It does. Intro, game setup, inspection, nice. Electronic gaming system. Okay, that's the technical information. We can breeze by that. An example of the cabinet. Game concept. One or two-player game. You must advance through squadrons of alien ships to attempt to dock with the mothership. Okay, another mechanic we've seen. Players move to the left and right and shoot, attacking squadrons. Special warp allows them to slow down the alien ship, so there's a slow-mo, like we saw before. Astro Blaster is Sega Gremlin's first video game with speech synthesis. So we're going to see talking as well, or hear talking. As players enter new sectors, they encounter a different number of alien squadrons, and they must destroy all ships in the squadron. One squadron of rockets is extremely difficult, but players can pass the squadron by hitting a few enemy ships. And then there's 29 different alien squadrons in each sector. Oh, okay, not different types, but you have to just kill 29 ships. There's fuel and laser temperature, so we have both to take care of in this game. We have the time warp, which allows you to slow down time. And then scoring, do we allow the top 3 scores? Okay, it doesn't say anything about initials, but we'll see. And we're going to stop inspecting the system. We got it already. We're good. We have different versions for Astro Blaster. We're going to the arcades at some point in 1981 by Sega Gremlin playing Astro Blaster. I hear it, yes. There you go. We even have the artwork on the outside. In the far left corner is instructions of how to play. It says shoot enemy ships and asteroids, avoid collisions, press the warp button to slow down enemy ships, dock with the mothership, and the game ends when fuel or ship runs out. Here we go. Let's put a coin in. And okay, I've heard this before. That voice I have heard either in an arcade somewhere. If I don't even remember playing this game in the arcades, I've heard that at some point. Very reminiscent to some shooters we played by Sierra for the home computers, Apple II and Atari 800, where we're switching between enemies. Like playing Sneakers, they have a different enemy type, and we move on to another enemy type, and we're going to get rained down on by bullets. Controls are very simple. What's the warp do? There's my warp. So cool. Slow him down. Oh, and he counts down? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Exercise extreme caution. That's awesome. Yeah, the slowdown's great. It's more like a warp from 2001: A Space Odyssey. Everything goes slower. All right, we did it. We're doing good. I'm glad they didn't keep it as difficult as it used to be. Go in, nice and easy. Oh yeah, they made the docking easy too. Animation is top notch. Looks really good. Originally the mechanic we saw on yeah, all the different enemy types keeps it fresh. It is still a fixed screen shooter, but this is excellent. Great place for the golden age of arcade games in 1981. We're blowing up mini Enterprise ships. I can't state how big Star Wars and Star Trek influenced the video game industry. We've seen countless games that have some form of Star Wars or Star Trek in them. Makes you wonder, if we didn't have Star Trek or Star Wars, what would video games be doing? Alright, we're going to slow these guys down.
Activated. 10, 9, 8, 7,
Yeah, I love the countdown. That's awesome.
5, 4, 3, 2,
You still got to watch out for the bullets, even though it's slow motion.
exercise extreme caution.
Oh, or maybe I should have waited for the... Oh, yeah, I should have waited for the
Critical.
asteroid field. Gosh.
Laser temperature critical. Laser temperature critical. Fuel status marginal.
Oh, I'm really loving the voice synthesis. Adds to the experience, letting you know, there's warnings, watch out, fuel's going down. That's awesome. I was saying Mooncrest was one of the first ones we saw the docking procedure.
Alert. Invader sector 3. Player 1 to battle station.
And we're still getting first death, but we're still getting different enemy types. Lots of fun. One of the things they changed from the original build was the shots. The bullets aren't firing as fast or moving as fast as they could have. I'm getting a lot more time to knock them out. And biggest draw to the game is, I want to see what the next enemy is. What are we going to see as we keep playing? Get out of there. Oh, gosh, got me.
Remaining exercise extreme caution.
Oh, no. Now, I could have given me some more lives. Oh, we do get initials. That's nice. Oh, that's great. You can move your ship. There we go. That's how you should put initials in. Over the letters and then move the letters forward. You just can't fire super fast to get the initials you want. Go, go, go. There we go. Oh, yeah. Astro Blaster is where it's at. That's great. Yeah, this is a great game to play. If you get good enough, similar to those easier space shooters, you can go farther and farther. Oh, they're giving you instructions on the attract mode, too. That's awesome. All right, so that was Astro Blaster. It isn't the best game you could play in 1981, but still very good. I'd say 3.5 stars, above average for sure. 3.5, maybe 4 stars. If anyone in chat wants to throw out some ratings, it is not the average shooter that you'd see in the arcades. It's close, though. It's not something that's going to push the boundaries of the best thing you could possibly play. But I'm thinking 3.5 or 4. Oh, yeah, enemy variations, definitely. And we've had some other computer titles of space games like this. So, yeah, we'll go 4 stars. 4 stars for Astro Blaster. Excellent game in 1981. All right, so we've reached the end of this list, but that's not all. We got some stragglers before we closed out the end of 1981. Let's check them out. Starting with another one that was almost forgotten. We've been a fan of Bill Budge, but this one slid under the radar. This is Bill Budge's Space Album for the Apple II. Originally released in 1980. So this came out around the same time as Bill Budge's trilogy of games that we've already checked out. Let's take a look at the artwork for Bill Budge's Space Album. California Pacific Computer Company presents Bill Budge's Space Album. This one has 4 games. So rather than the trilogy of games, this one has 4 different ones. Requires 32K to play this. We also have an advertisement flyer, what it usually looked like for the California Pacific Computer. We have Death Star, Solar Shootout, Tail Gunner, and Asteroid. $40 on disc. So you first got to shell out all the money for that disc drive for your Apple II, and then it's $40 for this game. And keep in mind, it's 1980 for this one, for the release. We have the example of the 5 1/4 floppy disk. Looks very similar to all the other California Pacific Computer. An example of the screenshot. We'll check it out. No manual for this one, so hopefully we get it to run the first time. Here we go. Let's play some Bill Budge's Space Album. Released at some point, actually in March March 1980. California Pacific Computer presents Bill Budge's Space Album. Right? It reminds me of the Sid Meier titles where he keeps putting his name in the front of it. But if it was Robin Williams' idea, I highly endorse it. All right, nice. We got a cool intro. Wireframe space shuttle. We're in for a treat if this plays well. All right, so we hit the break key, and just like we did with Trilogy games, select the one we want. Let's start at the top with Asteroid and play a novice game. We're in. So I'm playing this with the Apple II joystick using a wireframe model. We're not really getting a shot for every time, but you notice how the game is slowed down whenever we have lots of elements on the screen, but when there's nothing on the screen, it goes faster. And I'm trying the different buttons. I'm not getting a way to thrust the other buttons on my Apple II joystick are not allowing me to move the ship forward. That's strange. It's like a stationary asteroid game. Oh, and there's our UFO. Got it. All right, so that's our first game, Asteroids. Asteroid ripoff, if you will. A few different game modes there, and then now we have Death Star. Let's take a look at Death Star. Push number 2. Shoot the gun turrets and TIE fighters before they shoot you. Don't let your ship wander too close to the walls of the valley. If you touch a wall or hit by enemy fire, you crash and the mission's over. Okay, everyone got it? Here we go. Whoa! Oh my gosh, I died really fast, but I was blown away. It's a trench run from a 3D perspective using wireframe graphics on the Apple II. In 1980. No way. All right, let's try this again. So all I have control over is the cursor, and I can move the cursor up and down to aim for the ships or for turrets. And I'm supposed to dodge their bullets. Oh, and make sure I don't hit the walls on the sides. Wow. Oh, and the bullets got me. It makes me feel like the Apple II is chugging to make this happen. It's crying at me. No, I'm not made to do this. We're getting variable frame rates while we play. If there's less elements on the screen, it goes a little faster. Notice how when everything stops moving, the ship speeds up. Yeah, there's some development wizardry going on here. But I like it. It's fun. I don't have control of the ship, just the crosshair. So it really feels like I'm playing a rail shooter. No. Got it. Nice. It is so much fun playing video games that aren't having to follow a license. This is obviously Star Wars, but it's not endorsed by Star Wars. And so having the developers get the freedom to make whatever game they would want to have, you just wouldn't see this nowadays. It's so cool. Yeah, having you fly into, like you're falling into the Death Star is awesome. All right, so that was Death Star. This is a 4-parter, so let's check out Tail Gunner. Hit number 3, use the paddle and game button to shoot the enemy ships. You get more points for shooting ships that have just appeared. The game ends when 10 ships have escaped. How many targets are on the screen at a time? Let's start with 1. We're in. Okay, so it's a true rail shooter. Now we're in a first-person view. Whoa, and we're warping through space. Looks like I only have control of the left and right. So the paddle controls just allow me to move left and right and then fire. I'm in the wireframe 3D graphics is so cool. And if you think the sound is lacking, most of the Apple II games, we haven't had the best sound. So it gets a pass. Unless you want to check out Darts for the Atari 800. That game had some crazy music. Yeah, we're getting it. It's simple mini games, but they're very effective and they're fun. Let's see if we can back out of it. There we go, nice. And then our last game is Solar Shootout. So here we go. Let's check out Solar Shootout. Another one of the Bill Budge package. So use the paddles to change orbits. The game buttons fire missiles. First player to reach 10 wins. Press any key to play. I don't know what's going to happen. Oh, no way. It's like Space War. or at least a very rudimentary version of it. You're flying around with a little bit of gravity, and you can see I'm one of the ships that fires a shot, but then it just continues to go in a circle. And you can go closer or farther away, kind of nuanced. It's not, it doesn't feel like I have total control of what's happening. It's more just showing off that you're orbiting around a star. But we've seen better for the Apple II, but it is a compilation of multiple games in one. If it was 1980 and you got this for your Apple II, it would be a blast. Very fun. Yeah, the 3D graphics is really what draws me in. It's awesome. All right, so that was Bill Budge's Space Album. That originally was released in March of 1980. This is another straggler that we're taking care of. So for all the games we've seen up to this point, it's an exceptional game, especially if you were at the time in 1980. I'm going to say it's a 3.5, 4-star game, considering the other titles we've seen. I'm going to do 3.5, so it's above average for all 3 in 1. Some of them you could throw away as a quick game to play, but still very good for a home computer title. All right, so that was Bill Budge's Space Album. Let's see our next game that almost got missed under the radar. We're moving on to the TRS-80 color computer, and this is Death Ship. Big shout out for these last-minute color computer ones for L. Curtis B. Thank you so much. So we got no other information, not a lot of artwork. Do we even have? Yeah, we just have the screenshot for this one. So let's pop in and play Death Ship, released at some point in 1981. Let's go. Okay, this one's in basic. Nice. Oh, it's a text adventure game. I'm in a radio room. I see radio. Message. Obvious exits are down. Tell me what to do. So another very simple early text adventure game. I'm guessing 2-word text parser. Let's see. Radio or message. Read message. Message. I don't have it. Oh, get it. You got to get message. Sorry. Get message. Now we got the message. Now read message. Makes total sense in interactive fiction world. Abandoning ship, no chance of finding the bomb by 9 o'clock. Okay, so that's what the death ship is. We have to figure out our way out, disarm the bomb, and get out of here. So we have a radio. Use radio. Do you understand use? I don't have it. Oh my gosh. Get radio. Get that. It's nailed. This right here is the logic of text adventure games from 1981. It's nailed down. Who nails down a radio? Why would you need to do that? So we have to go find a hammer, I guess, to take the radio up. All right, so what was the... Let me look again. What are my exits? Exits are down. Can we go D? Wait, did we go down? Oh, it has nails here. Radio and nails. Okay, but I didn't go down. Can we do DWN? Does it understand that? What about go down? There. Okay, yeah, it is. It's the text adventure game formula that is even more rudimentary because you have to type the whole sentence out. I'm in the aft deck. I see lifeboat, swimming pool. Obvious exits are north and up. Okay, so we have a swimming pool. Go pool. Can we swim? Hurry, I can't swim. I'm in the swimming pool. Oh, great. So we put him in the water. He can't swim. We're most likely going to drown. I can see water. Drink water. I drowned. I told you I can't swim. A fitting end to Death Ship, where we died. So another text adventure game that is one of the first renditions of what you could play. I'm pretty sure we're going to see this one again in other formats because a lot of the text adventure games that start simple, they get a graphic overhaul later. I can't say for Death Ship, but still quaint. All right, for all the games we played, it's still a lower end title for the other ones we've seen. Of course, you could play longer, but I'm going to go 2.5 stars. Anytime the text parser doesn't respond and you have to type something even more exact, like directions, I'd say subpar. So 2.5 stars for Death Ship. For all the games we played. All right, here we go, playing every game from 1981. Our next game is Gauntlet. Oh, wait, not that Gauntlet. So don't get too excited. This is a totally different one. Let's take a look at Gauntlet for the TRS-80 color computer. This is the ad for Gauntlet by Avalon Hill. It's a combination asteroid Space Invaders game. You're on a blue spaceship and your mission is to destroy the purple alien ships. Stay at the bottom of the screen, control the flight speed by pushing the joystick forward or back. So that makes you go fast or slow, and then you go left and right to shoot different asteroids. It says, can you see right here above my shoulder? Graphics aren't spectacular, but the action's good. So it's a review. Yeah, it's a review of Gauntlet, not the ad. By KL Color Staff that gave this one. And then an example of the screenshot for Gauntlet. So hopefully no one sees Gauntlet and gets freaking out like, Gauntlet came out in 1981? No, not the Gauntlet you're thinking of. A totally different one. So here we go. Let's pop in and play some Gauntlet. Released at some point in 1981 for the TRS-80 color computer. How do we get this one up? Oh, I see. Going to be a tricky one, eh? It's not load Gauntlet like you think. This one takes a little bit of more finesse. Nope, nope, nope. Gotta go a little slower when you spell it out. We want to play some Gauntlet from Disk. Are you ready? I don't know if I'm ready. Yeah, the reason we have to load it this way is because it only needed 4K, so we had to dumb down the system a little bit. All right, we're in. Gauntlet by Brit Monk. Way to go, Brit. So August 1981. At some point in August, let's do joystick button. We're in. There it is. Graphics aren't great, but I am moving the blue ship at the bottom of the screen, left and right. If I go up, oh yeah, speed this sucker up. And then go down, oh, slow it down. Oh, but pilot evaluation is dead. Hit the joystick again. Let's go in again. These graphics remind me if the TRS-80, like Model 3, had color. This is what it looks like. The lower resolution. I love it. Very, very charming. But here's what's cool about Gauntlet. I do a shot, and it blows chunks away of the asteroids. And it's literally blowing away different pixels of it. That is so cool. I'm moving it slow just because that's so fascinating to tear holes through stuff. That would be the best thing it's got going for it. The rest is pretty simple. You can see we got, oh, it even does it for the aliens? You can blow chunks off the alien. That's awesome. Yeah, the control's fine-tuned. I can feel the analog control. It's awesome for the time. I'm keeping it still really slow just because I really love blowing the pieces off. That is awesome. So cool. Wasn't expecting that because when you see a screenshot, you think, okay, it's a lower resolution, move left, right, and fire game. But it's a little more than that. That is so cool. Yeah, you can move the stick exactly where you want to get the exact pixel. That's awesome. And can I hit any of these? The starfield in the background, oh, so they rated me at the end. My pilot evaluation was poor just because I like blowing chunks off stuff. Well, how can I help blowing chunks off? It's so much fun. The sound is very, very quiet. I'm getting very, very quiet sound. The sound of the countdown is there, but it's really, really muted. All right, that's pretty impressive. Very fun for the time. Just being able to blow pieces off of stuff is so cool. So for all the games we've seen up to this point, it is a space game. It is a shooter, but it is doing something we haven't seen before. And even though the graphics are simple and it's a one-player game, I'm still saying it's around. I can't say it's average for the time. I like that concept. So I'm going to say 3.5 stars for Gauntlet. Anyone in the chat want to throw out some ratings? It's also very quaint with the color graphics at that resolution. I enjoy it. For 1981, we're saying 3.5 stars for Gauntlet. Not the Gauntlet you think. Not that one. All right, let's press forward and see our next game as we close out the rest of the stragglers. Here's our next one for the TRS-80 color computer. This is Kosmic Kamikaze. Let's take a look at what we have for artwork. Very limited. Kosmic Kamikaze, one of the best spaceship graphics we've seen in non-machine language high-res graphics. Has an interesting format, good signature, pretty challenging to play. Game pits your spaceship in an uncharted area of the universe amid a whole raft of alien-type pirate ships. Cosmic Kamikaze takes a little getting used to. You have to hit the pirates and the comet just right in order to destroy them. This is by IMB, and there's an example of a screenshot of the game. Couldn't get the box for this one, really hard to come by, but glad we did. Let's pop it and play some Cosmic Kamikaze, released at some point in 1981. Thanks for the preface. You don't believe in this one, huh? We'll see about that. So another one in basic. Let's go, bring it on. How bad can it be? It can't be that bad. We want to do speed up, so hit number 2. Let's go fast. There you go, by IMB Game. Look at the presentation. You get that on the home computers. It's awesome. Cosmic Kamikaze. They even have an opening for us and then different skill levels. Let's go regular. I might be regretting that, but we'll see. Regular. Is it really regular? Wow, weird. Okay, so I'm in control of only the laser of the ship. And there's different targets. No, get the... I was aiming my laser at the asteroid. Whoa, cool death animation, though. Game over. So instead of exploding the entire ship, it slowly dissolves the ship. Okay, we'll go back to beginner mode. So we'll go beginners. Hit number 1. It does feel limited gameplay-wise. I am just controlling the laser. That's it. And I'm hitting whatever the targets are. So it's not something that's giving you full control of the game. There you go, got another one, and it's keeping track of the hits I got, just based on the target. But you see how the laser's short, or gets shorter and longer, you're determining where the laser is and how it's short and long, so it feels a little more restricted than other space games. It is a different formula, though. The only other one I can think of was another one we played on the Coco that did something similar, but it was with Missile Command-themed game. Not Polaris. Polaris on the Coco is top tier for 1981. All right, so for all the games we've seen up to this point, Cosmic Kamikaze, it's, I'd say the limited play control, I could consider it bad because it's, even though the joysticks for the Coco have analog, they're fine-tuned, they're really cool, and we've seen other games that utilize that. This one did not. So I'm going to say 2 stars. It could be much better played, and while the graphics do look pretty good for the time, the gameplay is subpar. So yeah, 2 stars for Cosmic Kamikaze. You did call it. Thanks, L. Curtis B. Anyway. All right, so let's move on and see what our next game is. Still on the TRS-80 color computer, and this is Space Intruders. If you thought we were done with all the Space Invaders clones for the TRS-80 color computer, you were dead wrong. Space Intruders is like the other ones we've seen. It's just barely slipped in under the radar. I'm amazed that we got it, or were able to play it, but it's another one that we don't have a box for, so all we have is just a screenshot. So here we go. Let's pop it and play some Space Intruders, released at some point in 1981 on the Coco. Now it could be anything and everything. We've seen some high and low on the Coco. I don't know what to expect now. And it's got to be Intruders, right? Oh, Intruder. Loading from disk. Here we go. Oh, interesting. Great. We're ready to rock. So if this only takes 4K, imagine the simplicity. So this is by Charles Forsyth. Way to go, Charles, from Adventure International. Wait a second. Adventure International. Now I'm wondering why we didn't get a box for this. Adventure International usually has, usually keeps up on all their stuff. So pressing the key to start. Looks like we got whatever that is for 1 point and whatever that is for 5 points. All right, we're hitting any key. Do we have no joystick control? Okay, so this is keyboard only. We're in. And it's not Space Invaders. This is, this is really close to Space Invaders. It's like the dumbest down version of Galaxian? Or maybe a hybrid of the two, because it's supposed to be showing off the enemy ship maneuvers, but look at the resolution. It feels like I'm playing on a handheld. Like this is on the Milton Bradley Microvision. Controls, though, work well. It plays well. Even though the graphics look very simple, you could still have a lot of fun with this in 81. How long you could have fun with it, that's debatable. And I must be a pro, I haven't died yet. But there's only so many pixels you have to dodge in this game, so, I mean, how difficult can it be, right? This is one of the titles that I'd love to have guests on, so they can play and see how the game feels compared to other games. Because it's using, you know, left, right, and fire. And it's just like space, or I should say Galaxian, but that's just stretching it. It feels more like Space Invaders. It's Space Invaders with one enemy that comes flying at you. Oh, come on. Oh, we out. Oh. It's dodging my shot. I don't believe it. Oh, I think we blew him up at the same time. And then, yeah, moves on to the next one. And ad nauseum. Alright, so something we haven't really brought up on the show, some of these games don't require a lot of memory to play. This is another one on the Coco that only has 4K, and yeah, good point, L. Curtis B. If you were wanting to get the most out of the memory you had, then this would be excellent for the time. So I did say it was enjoyable, and we have seen others, but the cost for the other games we've seen on the home computer, you know, depends on if you bought the disc drive, if you had it on disc, if you bought the disc version of it, and then what memory you had in there. So for Space Intruders, though, I'm still going to say it's around average for the games we've seen. I'll say 2.5 stars. So I'll say slightly below average, considering the other titles. It is not bad, but it is, considering the other computer games, not really up to snuff with the others. Alright, so that was Space Intruders. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen, our very last and final game we're going to be playing from 1981. Didn't want to leave it out. This is Apple-Oids for the Apple II. Let's take a look at the box for Apple-Oids. So this one is another one by California Pacific Computer Company. This one was another one kind of hard to come by, at least finding the physical media, because there's some games that I hear about that I know existed, but I can't find if they're out there, unless I find a fan who's kept a copy all this time. So this is Apple-Oids. Obviously, we're going to be playing Asteroids on the Apple, so clever pun there. If you haven't lived in the electronic age until you played Apple-Oids, this one's $30. It boasts on the front of the box. Includes 2 game bonus games, chip out too. So chip out's also with this one. This is designed by Tom Lures. Way to go, Tom. And then there's the manual, which we couldn't find, but if I had the picture of the manual of Apple-Oids. Cool artwork, and we're literally going to be shooting apples because it's on the Apple. Why not? There's our 5 1/4 floppy disk with a really funny disc sleeve. The Elephant Memory System never forgets. California Pacific Computers presents Apple-Oids. So like I said before, no manual, but here we go. We're going to pop it and play. Apple-Oids released at some point in 1981 for the Apple II. There we go. And it says 1980 Twilight Software, so I'm not familiar if they are the ones that created this first before California Pacific published it. Yeah, possibly. All right, here we go. Let's go. A for Apple-Oids. Now, we start this in like an arcade game, so it's going in attract mode, which, if you look at all the asteroids, I mean, how quaint is that? It is really reminiscent to the graphic style of the Exidy Sorcerer version of Asteroids we played. But it's not asteroids, it's little apples that fly around and split into smaller apples. And it's not just apples, it's the Apple, the logo. So it's almost like it was programmed as a way to market the Apple at the time. And as the attract mode goes in, it gives us the title of the game. Very quaint. Love it. Okay, so we're in. I am as the ship of the flying headfirst into the Apple-Oids, because they're not asteroids now. Now the control is using the Apple II paddles, so that's why it feels a little bit off, because all you have is left and right to spin the paddles, and then of course you want to shoot your ship. I'm going to move myself to the center here. just too funny that you're shooting apples instead of asteroids. Feels like it should have been made by Scott Wozniak to sell more systems. If you really enjoy Asteroids, it's a very good home port of Asteroids. Looks good, plays good. Again, I'm going to reminisce of the Exidy Sorcerer version. It was not using vector graphics, obviously, but doing the best they could with the graphics they could use. Can we go? How do we go again? Hello? The break doesn't work to play again. You only get one game for Apple-Oids, and then that's it. What about S? Oh, of course, S to start a new game. No! You push the wrong button and you fly into the asteroids. So very cool that they decided to do this. And cool that we got to check it out. It's Asteroids. That's all it is, a home version of it. They boasted it was one of the best you could play, and I'm with them. It is one of the best you could play. Too cool. So there you go. That's Apple-Oids for the Apple II. Of all the games we played, it's still up there with, if you wanted a good arcade game and you liked Asteroids. Now, the Exidy Sorcerer version, we gave 4 stars. If I'm going to say slightly below, I'll say about the same. It's around still 4 stars. An excellent title if you wanted to play Asteroids at home on the Apple II. So there you go. That is the very last and final game of 1981, the one that we're going to check out. If you have any others that we've seen, you can let me know, but sadly, you had your chance. We are, we can now give a fond farewell to 1981, and if you look down below, I'm going to leave a link for this video for all of the 5-star games, our top games of 1981. Now, what's interesting is the top games we had of 1981, we played so many games in 1981 that we had over 40 games that were 5 stars, that we rated 5 stars. So there's so much, but if you check the link, that's for all the best of 1981. That's where we're going to leave us this evening. I will see you guys on the other side in 1982. Really excited about that. That's all we have for this evening. We'll catch you tomorrow, and like I always say, this is only the beginning. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every weekday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and let us know if we miss any games along the way. This video would not be possible without RetroArch and Launchbox. Please tell your friends there's some crazy guy out there trying to play every single video game. You can always check out Chronologically Gaming on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We will catch you next time.